Hello, my name is Milagros del Rubio and I work at the Department of Applied Linguistics at the Universidad Politécnica de Valencia. Today we are going to talk about the uses of two verb tenses, the past simple and the past continuous. The aims of this presentation, as you can see on the screen, are the following. First, we are going to explain and contrast the uses of two verb tenses, the past simple and the past continuous. This means that we are going to have a look at the rules of formation, their uses, and finally you are going to put into practice the theory I have explained with some exercises. Let's have a look at the past simple. When do we use this tense? Normally we use the past simple when we want to indicate that the action is completed in the past. If you consider the example on the screen, I went to the cinema yesterday evening, the action began and finished in the past. Sometimes we use the past simple with a series of completed actions, as you can see on the screen. You peel the potatoes, beat the eggs, and then add the oil in the pan. In this case, all these actions took place in the past in a certain order, and they are completed. Sometimes we also use the past simple to express duration in the past. For example, I lived in Mexico for 2 years before I came here. Notice that we normally use adverbs that indicate that the action took place in the past. In this case, we have 2 years before I came here. A different use of the past simple is to indicate habit in the past. This means actions which were habitual in the past. In this case, the use of the past simple is quite similar to the use of used to. So, if you have a look at the screen, we have I never wanted to eat my food when I was a child. So this was a habit in the past, in your case. Right, now let's move on to the past continuous. We normally use the past continuous when we want to express that an action was in progress at a specific time in the past. For example, I was skiing at 3 p.m. Or, what were you doing at 6 a.m.? Normally, the action began before the specific time. In this case here, the action began before 6. But the action may or may have not continued. So remember that when we use this tense, the focus is always on duration, not on completion. Right. Normally, when we use the past continuous, it is the case that a short action interrupts a longer action in the past. So if we have a look at the two examples on the screen, he was really coming down when he got up, or he was writing a letter when the bell rang. We have two different actions. One was a longer action in the past. He was really coming down. It means it was really raining down. Or she was writing a letter. And these two long actions in the past are interrupted by another action which is shorter. In the first case, when I got up, and in the second case, when the bell rang. So remember that we use the past continuous to specify what the action was at a certain time in the past. So imagine that I want to emphasize what I was really doing last night at 3 a.m. So at a specific time I say, last night at 3 I was still working on my thesis. Right. A different use of the past continuous is to create an atmosphere or create an ambience, especially when we are narrating or when we are telling a story. So with this verb tense, we kind of create a background. Let's have a look at the example on the screen. It was such a lovely place. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. It was so peaceful. Suddenly I heard a noise. Something was moving behind the bushes. Right, another use of this tense is to express parallel actions. For example, while I was driving, Mary was talking on the phone. Here we have two actions, I was driving and the other person was doing something different. Or, they were chatting while they were waiting for their plane. Right, it's very important to notice that normally we use went with a past simple action. For example, Marta was speeding when the lights turned amber. And we normally use while with a past continuous action. For example, while she was speeding, the lights turned amber. But the time clause with went or while can come at the beginning or the end of the sentence, and there is no difference in meaning. Right, in the next slide you have several tables where you can check the rules of formation for the past simple with the verb to be, for the past simple in affirmative and negative sentences of any other verb, for the interrogative statements in the past simple, and the same for the past continuous. In this table you have affirmative and negative statements, and in the next one you have interrogative statements. Right, and now I want you to put into practice what I have just explained. So I want you to read very carefully the following exercise, where you have to complete the gaps with the right form in the past simple or the past continuous. You can stop this presentation and go back when you are ready to check for the answers. Good luck. Okay, and here you've got the answers. And that is all for today. Thank you very much for your attention.